Do you need a good night's sleep? Has life been getting you down? 2020, pandemic, global capitalism. Well, I have a mattress for you. Well, we're going to be talking about...
Know about this mattress is the media as a whole has been conspiring to subtly brainwash you into wanting to buy it, to the point where it's even infiltrated our precious Japanese cartoons.
Can you believe that the two best anime of the season probably had Big Mattress on their production committees? Over the Moon...
That's absurd. We clearly know the CEO of Big Mattress was clearly writing out the scripts for each episode himself.
Yeah, we have a conspiracy going on. We have Over the Moon for you, trying to sell you mattresses by portraying a very happy Japanese couple. Like, the perfect marriage. But they don't have a bed, so they need to buy one.
And keep in mind, normally this might be a 1 second thing. You might think we're crazy, but really think about it. In Over the Moon, they dedicate like 20 minutes to the logistics of having a bed. And that might be a one-off thing. You might be like, okay, that was weird, but I guess this show's kind of anal. But in the last episode, the house burned down, which means we're gonna have, obviously coming up, the second bed arc. I'm just as prepared for the bed fighting.
Yeah.
And they evilly give him a lot of trivia knowledge, so it doesn't stand out to you. All for the purposes of making you buy mattresses.
And this becomes even more poignant. Like, if this was a one-off thing, or it was just Over the Moon for you that's trying to sell you mattresses, I could, like, pass it off as completely normal. But we have the Demon Castle show, like, this about a sleepy princess. And she sets herself on quest, like, every episode to fall asleep perfectly. Like, she wants a good night's rest.
Some of you might be yelling at us now, internally, that actually the Princess show is the examination of stuff about childhoods and darker themes, explored in a lighthearted way to make it comprehensible. If you are, know that you're actually dumb. What's wrong with you? Don't you see all the evidence that it's actually all about mattresses? Like we said, we have footage of the CEO of the mattress company, right?
Yeah, we have this one scene from the... No. We have one scene from the last episode where the princess is Aurora, Sleeping Beauty. Like, it's going all the way back to, like, Western fantasies here to connect to, like, the mattress scheme. She's watching an advertisement for a waterbed, and it's just subliminally messaging you to buy a mattress.
And remember, this is a Japanese show. The traditional method of sleeping in Japan is
a futon. Yeah. Yes.
This is cultural appropriation of the Westernum. Now, some of you might be saying, isn't that kind of insane to think groups shouldn't adopt different ideas from each other? To that I say, what's wrong with you? Why do you want things sold? Bad people, you need to understand if it serves a capitalist in any way.
I do think that's important to bring up, though, is we have two competing industries here. We have the futons and Big Mattress. And you might think Over the Moon for you is neutral to both. But the reality is, remember how the wife is sleeping down on the ground on a futon, and the husband, Nasa, is sleeping on an actual bed. This is portrayed negatively because they cannot see, they're not on the same level. So a happy married couple needs a bed, not futons, you know?
Yeah, and they also rest better. She only gets her good sleep when she steals the bed. Now, some of you may be telling us, well, what about when they're at her home arc? That's clearly subtle imagery to try to trick you. You might think futons are okay, but it's telling you that futons mean no sex, and that futons are sex negative. Therefore, we can see all the evidence coming up to. The next arc will be about how much their relationship gets better in correlation to their new, bigger bed they can both sleep in. It's also obvious.
I agree. And with that, we can actually go to the serious discussion. We got serious matters to discuss because these are the two best shows of the season. Unironically, whether they're a scheme to sell mattresses or not, they're still the best.
If you disagree, once we collectivize everything as evil tankies, we will buy a plane ticket to fly to you and personally fight you over this.
Honestly, I need my bed to be an actual tank. That'd be great. I'd be living my childhood dream.
I was gonna say cut it, but now your funny comment only makes sense after the bad joke. Fuck. Do you know who could probably internalize some better messages from having a tank for a bed? Aurora. Think about it. She would probably internalize more good messages of taking on your problems head on, which she already does with a tank bed, but she doesn't because the show, what would you say is a good way to put it, Calliope?
I think we phrased it that Aurora, or the princess, does not have a freeze response. She simply fights immediately, and the reason she's fighting so hard is her main goal is to always sleep. So, I feel like the show just has good lessons to learn from, because, like, a lot of people are inhibited by that freeze response, and this was, like, developed in early childhood, probably. Just kind of natural response, too.
The freeze response only really serves us back in an evolutionary sense, where it might stop a predator from seeing you. But it's not all that great in a social context in the modern day. I can relate to Aurora by her basically just being a gender-flipped version of me at that age. And the big difference between us is she's much betterly deals with how to deal with childhood trauma, like bad parenting trauma, not like abuse. She's a better model given to people watching the show of how to deal with it than the media typically gives you, which is Jack and all. Because the media usually tells us how to deal with, like, your parents punching you or being very avert, and not, like, the subtler things of just kind of shitty parenting or the consequences of society.
Because a lot of people are looking at the show as just, like, good sleep advice or something, you know. It's a great show for that. It is. But me and Alex really do think this has a deeper layer to it, where, like, it actually portrays, like, the family and society in general, and how a child would respond to that. It's obviously kind of a metaphor there, but it is there, and I think that's what elevates this to a great piece of art, a great anime, is that it has that ability to do that, while being cute. Like, this is a cute show, but if you look deeper at it, you can take a lot from it.
The cuteness is especially important because that makes you more easily able to process the messages than if it was dealt with in the normal way it is in the media, which is a flat forward portrayal that just makes you sad and not actually take anything in.
For example, in the latest episode, the princess is actually having to take on a role as a hostage. And this plays off of a joke. She's in a demon castle, and she's a very bad hostage. Like, she just leaves her cell all the time, roams around the demon castle, like, murdering demons who get revived. So they're okay. But now the demon lord wants to make her fill that role as a hostage better. And this is, you know, played off as a joke, but it actually labels these demons as parents. Like, they take pride that, like, she started fulfilling the role. But it immediately backfires. It immediately backfires that she begins filling this role.
She fulfills the role that they want her to. Because with something that makes abuse like this hard to talk about in society, is it's less a result of individual parents and more just the fucked up messages capitalism subconsciously drills into everyone. So it teaches us what you should be, but what you should be is unhealthy. So once you make your kids act the way they should be, they're going to do unhealthy. Or they don't, and you think the reason they're sad is they're not doing the thing they're supposed to.
Yeah, I think this is also, like, heightened up by the fact that she's, like, her voice actor is, like, doing a very, like, cliche princess voice. And, like, this is an archetype we've seen multiple times in media. It's just a very pronounced role. And she's usually not, as the main character, is usually not fulfilling that normal princess role. She's just that archetype because, you know, it's cute and adorable. So her normal princess response is, you know, at the end of the episode, like, the climax is she just, like, falls asleep like normally. But in this, forced on this role, it's like this weird, off-putting role, this princess role that we typically see, which is kind of bad, like, in general. And that's what makes this message pretty good, I think.
So, Calliope, if I may wrap myself out for a second, I'm sorry, but I haven't watched every single episode at time of talking. Is there evidence of metaphor for, like, an unhealthy family dynamic in the rest of the show, or does it only really start here?
That's a good question, because I haven't paid attention until we watched the latest episode. Honestly.
So what we're saying is our Digine style 3-hour analysis, breaking down the show clip by clip, has heated Sword Art Online. You can expect in 2021.
Yes, you can expect that later, in a later date, once the show's complete. We haven't seen every episode. This is our impressions.
Definitely not a game. All we have to do is actually read Hegel's Family and Capital.
I agree. That would be a great starting point for analyzing the Demon Castle show.
But don't you understand the other leftist tendencies have a point here? We haven't literally read every single book of theory ever, so we can't talk about anything.
I do think we should aspire to Aurora who reads the Necromonicon as sleeping material. I do encourage all leftists, like, even if you haven't read, as long as you consider theory sleeping material, you'll be well off becoming a great comrade one day. One day.
I mean, as far as, like, what helped me not fall into, like, the alt-right's pipeline at that age was actually reading, like, things that would probably be considered, like, a Necronomicon. Materials like the Communist Manifesto and other actual theories.
Yeah, it's really stereotyped, but it's like, it's just a book. It's just a book.
So, I guess the moral message here is, start off good theory young. Kids are smarter than you think, and they should probably have a real framework for understanding the world, instead of a made-up one that they're supposed to magically replace around, like, puberty.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, audience, you should be aware that the other best animated also talks about the family, but the show is of such amazing quality that even terrible people like us, and a sexually romantic like me, can see the amazing chemistry within the proper relationship between the couple and Over for the Moon. Evidence in the interactions between the couple with other people as well, like her weird rich family.
Yeah, her bougie, like, friend? Or, like, pretending to be a sister, you know? Like a younger sister or something.
I think they're family friends. I think that was an implication. But
yeah, but the reason we're comparing these two shows, other than, like, the big Mattress meme, is, like, this show is about perfect communication between a couple, whereas the other is about very comedic miscommunication.
Calliope! Wait, this was a meme? Oh no! My world was shattered! Fuck! Are you sure, Calliope? I mean, just think about all the mattresses. Oh god, the conspiracy goes to the top. Is everything involved in Mattress? How much does CEO of Mattress really own Calliope?
All of anime.
God damn it. Well, I guess the only solution here is to become a Weeb revolutionary. And I'm assuming that's when we cut that line?
Okay. I guess we ran out of material. I guess we're done here.